The month of September is going to be absolutely critical for the direction of crypto for the rest of this year into next year. This video, we're going to cover both scenarios, the crash scenario or the pump scenario. And as you can already see on the chart, this is a total crypto market cap. Look at this symmetry here. Long entry back here in May of 2022. Let me turn off that sound so you guys don't bleed out of the ears. Long entry back in May of 2022. Long entry back in December 2022, long entry September 2023. And you can see how this market symmetry is kind of playing out here. And if we were to measure the amount of time in between, right, from here to here, 224 days. Then if we measure from here to here, it's around 257 days. So it's off by like 20 days, but that's not a problem. You know, it's right in that vicinity. But this market's symmetry is so telling as to what could lie ahead for the entire crypto space here. So let's first start off with this, because this pattern here, ever since we got this vertical blue buy now signal in January of 2023, and for people who don't know, the vertical lines here, the Stargate signals, vertical green is your prepare to buy soon. The vertical blue is your buy now signal. And then your vertical red is your sell warning, and your vertical yellow is your sell now. So this right here, you can see that this structure, this pattern is the same thing as what's happening right now on the right. So you can look to the left to gauge the right. It's like a mirror. And really, if I kind of clean up this chart, you could see it much better in the sense of if I were to take, I wish I could like cut this and rotate it. I don't think there's an option to do that on TradingView, but maybe I could do it in Photoshop or something. But like, if you were to take this right here and like roll it over, like just roll it over, it would perfectly fit into this right here. It would be the exact same structure, because this would lie on top of this, this would lie on top of that, and then this would lie on top of that. So like, we're seeing the exact same thing play out inverse. So we did this pattern because we're in a downtrend, of course, but we're doing this now in an opposite way because we're now in an uptrend. So if I were to take this fractal, we can kind of see if we can match it up. But notice we have that. Let me kind of stretch it out a bit. And then we'll go and flip it. And you can see how it's kind of matched up, right? I would need to like mirror it maybe. Yeah, there we go. Like a little mirror. You can see how it's matched up, you know? And then if I throw those signals back on, you can see clear as day. You know, like where I just copied this from here, this point right here with the fractal that we just did the flip and we did the mirror and we put it over here, right? Like it matches up with this long entry. So if we look to the left to kind of analyze the right, this long entry is in an exact like where we're supposed to be in comparison with this long entry on a time perspective and on a pattern perspective. And then this long entry right here is our anchor. So this is where everything changed. Now that was our anchor point where we were in a downtrend to then going into an uptrend. Now we have both sides of the coin now flashing the long entry, showing our market symmetry. So what should happen next? Right? We should see something like this happen next, you know, and we're at the time frame where we should start to see it. By the tail end of September going into October, we should see this play out like that, because we're looking at now the inverse. So what happens on the left happens on the right, and you just have to flip. So that's what should be in our horizon here. And that would bring us to 2 trillion by the end of this year. Not saying it's going to happen, not saying it's guaranteed. I'm just showing you what I'm seeing in the charts, and it's not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. But that kind of matches up with the Fib forecaster level of where we're supposed to go. This high down to the low, the 786 would bring us up to around that 2.2 trillion. So that gets us in the vicinity, right? So very, very well in the odds here. And then we could come down, kind of go sideways until the first quarter to the second quarter, where we start to see our, after the halving, we'll start to see price discovery. So also, I just found that to be incredible, that market symmetry, and how you could take this pattern right here and you could just flip it like that, and it would totally match this right here, it would match this right there. So we should be seeing some fireworks pretty soon, because another thing was when we saw the 4-day prepare to buy soon, the green line, but with the long entry, which is taking these macro, it's taking the 2-week chart, the 1-week chart, the 6-day chart, the 4-day chart, the 3-day chart, the 2-day, the 1-day chart. It's taking macro time frames, crunching them together. And as you can see, the reason why we flash this long entry tag is because we have the 6-day, the 4-day, the 3-day, and the 2-day are green here. So that's 4 out of the 7 time frames flashing green. That's when all the stars align for a long entry signal. When we have the Stargate signal looking at one sole time frame, that's great. But when you have them flashing on multiple time frames and you have the majority flashing, that's when all the stars align. So we have the long entry here. Then once we saw that 4-day buy now come in January 5th of 2023, it was up only. It was up only. And even though we had the long entry flash here in May of 2022, we're in our bear market. We're in the depths of it. But once that vertical blue buy now signal flashed July 16th, 2022, that was really our market bottom. Then we had our double bottom. So like we bottomed here, we kind of held it as support. And the only reason why we broke even further below is because the FTX crashed, right? But then it called it again and then said up only. Now we're at this point where the market's been boring. It's been sold off so much, but we've been maintaining the market structure. Like there's a lot of crash callers out there, but I mean, like we're maintaining solid market structure right now. And we have these signals flashing and we have that market symmetry from a time and fractal analysis perspective. And we're holding the 786 from this low to the high to the 786 here. We're holding it. And we have the Heikin-Ashi candle on the 4-day chart. It's been red since August 13th. Now turning green. So we're getting close to that vertical blue buy now signal to flash, which would spell out to me that the bottom's in for all of the crypto total market cap. And then we could look down here and we could say that, all right, we're getting close for that vertical blue to flash. So that's what I'm seeing as far as that goes. But it's critical that we hold 1.02 trillion. We could come down, retest 977 billion again, but I wouldn't want to see us retest that again because that would spell to me that, all right, it's likely we will have a crash and we'll probably come to 841 billion, or it could even come down to do a lower low at 662 billion because this is taking the total crypto market cap into account. It's not like Bitcoin would necessarily reach a new low, but maybe the altcoins bleed off more, in that scenario. So that's what I'm watching in that case. But we got to also keep in mind where we're at in the technological adoption curve. Like we're about to be into 2024. We're about to see the Bitcoin halving. We're about to see mass adoption of tokenization and blockchain and digital assets across the board. So how likely is it to go below 1 trillion, and stay down here and reach the 500 billion market cap? To me, it doesn't seem likely. A lot of people want that to happen because they would love to buy lower, which I get it. But we also have to be realistic about these crash calls. Also, too, if we're looking to the past and we look at the fractal of the total crypto market cap, and we'll take it from February, we'll take it right here and we'll bring it all the way up. So this was the COVID crash, that black swan. So we're going to match that up with the FTX crash, that black swan. So here, we had that same crash. We started and then we curled. We didn't have as deep as a capitulation, but we still kind of held this key level. We went up, we followed it, we came back down. And at this point in July, it should have been go time. It should have been go time here, right? And you can see how we turned and we did the opposite. But we could just be seeing a further stretch of this over here. So sometimes these patterns, they can play out differently most of the time. Sometimes they're at a ascending angle, a descending, or they're flat, or they're more stretched out in some aspects. But the same ultimate pattern does play out. And what I'm seeing here is that this is just playing out a little more like flat. Let me get rid of this. So it's playing out like more flat like this and more stretched out. So if we were to take that, so like we had this coming up, we went down, we popped up a little. We didn't go up as high as we probably should have at this point. I think we were muted at this point. But like where we're at in comparison is this kind of rounding out, like holding this base here. And what we should see next is, a liftoff like that, a liftoff like that. And if we look to the time points back here, September was when we reached this phase of like kind of, it was scary. It felt like, we're going to go back down. But we actually held the key level and we started to rip up out of nowhere. And this was September. And then as soon as October hit, it was game on. It was game on. So as long as we can hold this level in September of 1.04 trillion and we get that vertical blue buy now signal by the end of this month, and we start to press back up to like 1.10 trillion, I'm going with the scenario of this is what's going to pan out. And we can see that this pattern back here is matching that. We can see that the what's happening on the left, happening on the right is matching that. And the long entry symmetry as well too is matching up with that as well. And we're sitting on the 786. And I believe there's just a lot of fear in the market. And usually the market as a collective is wrong. If we throw up the bonus indicator, let's look to see if there's any fear. And yeah, there was fear back here, the yellow right here, just like there was yellow right here with the COVID crisis, just like there was yellow back here in the Black Swan moment, right? So a lot of things are matching up to tell me that, hey, we're going to see a pump back up and nobody's going to expect it unless there's another Black Swan catalyst, an event that, or a reason for us to go lower, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. It's been very quiet. It's been very muted. So where we're at right now, we're holding nice support. If we see that vertical blue buy now come in, I would going to go with the scenario that we're going to fire up. So if you want access to these signals and these custom indicators, then join the Discord. Link is in the bio. Friend request me, Rob at Stargate. We'll get you access to it. We'll get you kitted and suited up. And we just launched our automatic trading bots, which connect with Coinbase, Kraken, KuCoin, Binance. It connects with all the major large exchanges. And based off these signals, when this long entry flashes, it will actually place the trade in your account in your personal exchange, and you can set the parameters of how much you want to do this, that, and the other thing. So we just unveiled the Stargate automated experience where these signal, like you won't even have to learn these signals or these indicators if you didn't want to or if you didn't have the time to, right? Now we have the automated experience where it takes just 2 hours. We get you set up with all these things. We have it automate to send these signals to your exchange and place the buys and sells 24/7, 365. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is. If it's the weekend, if it's your birthday, it's going to place these buys or sells. And you can do it for any crypto that's listed on the exchange. So if you want access to the automated trading bots, the Stargate automated experience, then I'll put the link in the bio for that. You can fill out the application because we do have a waiting list for that. So let's go to the next thing. Altcoin market cap, right? So I wrote a little thing here because we're sitting at a moment that if the total 3 here market-wide rips, it is critical to find the coins that are going to pump back to back to back. One coin randomly fires up 10 to 20%, then another coin does it, another one does it, so on. So if we can correctly find a method to analyze the market and a way to spot these anomalies ahead of time, we can compound back to back to back faster and can even go less on the leverage amount and be more patient and methodical to compound 1,000 into 100K fast. And it's only possible in a clear-cut market-wide rip with bullish momentum on all market drivers aligning. So looking at the total crypto market cap, we're sitting at a moment where it's aligning. We're looking at the total 3. I've been saying 325 billion we need to get above, and right now we're at 325.63 billion as we speak. So we're seeing that check off and aligning. Bitcoin right now holding above the key level. We said 26K, and we're watching this fractal on it, saying that, hey, it's doing the same kind of pattern as the past here. Let me delete this. It's doing the same fractal as the past. And we're at the point like right here where it goes sideways and then all of a sudden it pops, right? So that's starting to align. And then the bond yields in dollars are very high up, but if they turn over, that's where all the market drivers are working in our favor. And there's a huge opportunity to compound gains because these altcoins across the board are going to fire up 10, 20, even 30, 40%. And they do it select, like even if I go to the watch list here, and I light this up, like audio out of nowhere, like 8.5%, flow out of nowhere, 7%, but then there's some down here that, aren't doing as well right now. So I'm going to be finding a way to analyze the market, to find these anomalies ahead of time so we can compound after compound back to back, strike on this opportunity because it's short-lived. It's very short-lived. So I'm ready to gear up on that. If you're ready to gear up on that, join the Discord. Link is in the bio. Ask for premium. We'll suit you up. But for the total altcoin market cap, right, we had a long entry flash. So this is on the swing trade time frame. So it's not the higher time frames, it's swing trade. But we had the long entry flash. We touched down into this fib overlap zone. So I shaded it in blue, but usually it's white. Let me put it back to white. So we touched down into that fib overlap zone, the same one that we touched in June and bounced out of, same one that we touched in December 2022, January 2023 and bounced out of. And we touched down in it, had a long entry flash, and we just got the 1 day buy now signal yesterday. And now we're sitting at that VPVR level, that key one. If If I zoom out a little bit, see how this is sticking out, that horizontal red line? We're sitting right at it. So if we press up above it, we're going to quickly go to 333 billion. If we break above that, we'll quickly fire up to these 200-day moving averages in this 1618. And at that point, 360 billion, we break above that, then we're ready to fly. So we're staring at this key moment right now where a lot of things are aligning that out of nowhere, we could see a market pump. These long entries really kind of called the bottoms here, like back in June of 2022, back here in November, but that was right before the FTX, so we went a little lower, but still. Long entry back in March 2020. This one, May 2023, we did ultimately bottom, but the altcoins went lower with that capitulatory dip out of nowhere. And then we went up and we just flashed it again, you know? And we're seeing a lot of things align right now. So if we go back to the past, we can outline the scenarios. If the altcoins break below the 786 here at 308 billion, you know, it breaks below this, then it's likely we're going to come down to this 1618 breakdown extension at 250 billion, which is coinciding with this ping fibma, which we touched down at in January 2023. And if we look all the way to the past, we touched down at it multiple times. COVID crash, even before it, we overshot it back in 2018 bear market bottom. But yeah, that is where we would go. That's where we would go. I don't think we'd go to 200 billion at that point, but this is where we would head to right here. And if we can hold above where we're at right now and break above 333 billion, the odds of the market wide rip are very, very likely. For the total market cap, if we break back below 1 trillion, it's likely we're going to come to 840 billion, which would be the 1618 breakdown extension. And it would coincide from this low to this high, the 786 likely. Yeah, on the money. So that's where we go, 816 billion to 841 billion. If we break below that, then we would likely come down to 663 billion. And that would likely coincide with the pink fibma if I throw that on. Yeah, to a T, 669 billion pink fibma. So we know our levels, we know the scenarios, we're at this middle point, right? It's going to be key. September is going to be key as to the direction going forward. So we have the levels jotted down. We know where it will fall to. We know if we break up, we know where it will go to. And I'm getting ready to strike on this because it's about to happen ASAP. So if you're ready to strike on it too, and you're not trying to let another opportunity pass by, then join the Discord. Link is in the bio. Request VIP. Rob at Stargate will get you kitted and suited up for all this action takes off. So that's what I'm seeing. That's a total market cap of crypto. I hope you enjoyed that little fractal and the symmetry there. And then the altcoin market cap and what I'm seeing as well too. And then with Bitcoin with that fractal and where we're at so far at this point. A lot of things are lining up, and I believe still XRP is getting ready to fire up because we just got that 1 day buy now signal, and we're above the 786 at 0.4968. We had the long entry flash once, twice, and it's called these bottoms ever since. If I go to the 1 day with the 7G, see long entry right there when we had that capitulatory dip at 44 cents, and then right here at 46 cents, it's set to sell around 75 cents. Even back here, it's set to sell 58 cents, buy 41 cents. You know, like it's crushed it. It's crushed it. And this is what we're going to set up for the Stargate bots, the automated experience, the trading bots. So get yourself on that waiting list. Link is in the bio. Come join the Discord, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'll be firing off a couple more videos because there's a couple other big things I want to share. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you guys in the Discord and in the next video.